Hey guys, hello and welcome to Manoeuvre's MBACET section. Today we shall be understanding what is verbal and critical reasoning part of this particular section. Now when we talk about verbal and critical reasoning, we generally tend to get tensed at times, and we get worried how difficult it might be, how it might go, how we are able to gauge the questions, understand what they want from us. All these queries comes to our mind once we come across this particular section of critical reasoning, critical and verbal reasoning, right? So here through this video we shall remove all the worries and tensions that comes across once we hear or listen or read these words. We need not think about anything that is negative, anything that is bringing our morale down to understand this particular section, because it is very easy if we use the correct approach towards it, right? The correct approach, that is the correct way to deal with this particular section. Now through this, what do we mean is that we have to develop a strategy, a way in which we shall go about solving our critical reasoning. But for that, you first have to be very, very confident and clear in your head that you will be able to do it thoroughly. You will be able to do it nicely without any without any blockages in your mind regarding this particular section, because this involves a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking process, that is analytical values, analytical abilities, your skills of using your power to think at different times. All these things will help you in solving your critical reasoning questions in a better way. But before that, let us see how do we approach it. What are the things that we will need to understand our section of critical reasoning? Right? Now this major segments of critical reasoning contains all these particular points. There are these types of questions which will help you in understanding this critical reasoning part more thoroughly, more subtly, right? So let us see how do we go about it. Let us see what are the types first. What are the types of questions that we will come across, the jargons we say, or the words that we come across while solving this particular CR part, critical reasoning part, right? Let us see what is it. Now first one says flaw. This is one type of question where you are supposed to detect flaws, like we all know, detect errors basically, right? Errors, where we search or we actually hunt for those parts which has errors in it, which has something that is not correct, something that is not easily understandable, or we cannot digest once we read a given statement. When you read a particular given statement, you generally look for things which are somewhere not in sync with the entire statement. That is your flaw. That is your basic error which you will hunt for or which you will look for. A flaw question is somewhere very easy to detect. It is the most easiest thing that you can ever think of in your critical reasoning section, right? So a flaw is something that will help you to spot error, spot something that is negative or not in sync with a given statement. That is your flaw statement, right? Let us see what is the other basic statement. The basic statement that we see over here is the statement part that we see over here is that part which tells us that what kind of question, what kind of idea has been put forward in front of you once you open the part of your critical reasoning section. A statement is your basic information that will lead you to or guide you towards your further solving of the question. This is generally your guiding element, right? A statement is your guiding element. It is made in such a way, it is conceptualized in such a way that it probably helps you to move ahead with solving your further examples or further questions related to critical reasoning. Statement can be positive, can be negative, can be neutral, can be just informative, can be supportive. There are many types of statement that you come across while solving your critical reasoning. Based on those statements, you will have to formulate your own ideas, your own theories, your own thought process and ideologies. Now when we solve a critical reasoning paragraph, we'll be more clearly able to understand what statement actually means. Correct? Now for example, here we can say that a statement says that the rise in the prices of mobile is due to the application of GST. This is our given statement. A very simple example I've given you over here, right? An example of GST. which is nowadays very talked about matter in the whole nation. So when we talk about this particular statement where rise in prices of mobile phones due to the application of GST, this is your given statement, for example, a simple subtle statement. So what do we call a statement? Is anything that is being told, that is being discussed, that will be your basic statement, right? So based on that, you can further have many questions based on this particular statement. Right? Argument. Now let's talk what is argument. Arguments are generally of two types, stronger arguments and weaker argument. Now stronger argument is something which will make your statement very supportive. Right? Strong is supportive, generally very positive. We associate strong argument with positive attitude. Argument that has hardly any chance for going wrong, that is your stronger argument. A counter argument can be hardly made, which can make it which can challenge the strong argument. That is called the strong part of the argument, and the opposite is obviously the weak part of the argument, where there is a statement made but there is some kind of loophole in it. A loophole that suggests that the argument is very much weak in the knees. Basically, it is a weak argument and anybody can challenge or defy it. Anybody can stand in front of this argument and challenge it, right? That is called a weaker argument. When we talk about weak arguments, we have so many things coming to our mind that how do we make the argument look weak? Now, sometimes when we say the price and the rise of mobile phones due to the application of GST, when you say that, you can make it weaker by saying that when GST is applied to mobile phones, the prices have risen from last 2 years, right? When we say that, it is of course a weak argument because GST application has begun in this year itself. So we cannot talk about rise of price due to GST since last 2 years. So last 2 years is a weak part that we are adding to our argument. That is making our argument weak. That is showing us that GST is not the cause of the rising price of mobile phones, right? So this is something where we can say the argument is weak. It is not subtle. It is not something that nobody can challenge. Anybody can come and question this particular argument saying that it is weak in the knees. It has nothing to do with reality, and you have to probably provide many explanations, right, to tell that your argument is not weak, but which is always the other way around. We hardly come up with excuses to show that argument is strong when it is already designed to be weak. Correct? So this is what we discuss about argument. There are stronger ones and there are weaker ones. Let us see what is cause and effect. Now cause and effect is another type of question that you will come across in your CR part, in your critical reasoning part. What does cause and effect mean? Cause means generally a incident or a situation, a particular situation which will lead to another situation, right? One situation is the cause and the other is the effect. For example, again we'll take the example of mobile phones and GST. The cause is rise in the price of mobile phones due to GST. That was our cause. That can be taken as cause. And effect will be decline in the selling price. Decline in the purchasing power. Decline in the purchasing power of people. The purchasing power of people will gradually decline because of the rise in the price of mobile phones. And why the prices have risen? Because of GST, right? So this is what we call cause and effect. Cause is rise in the price of GST, price of mobile phones, and reason and effect is decline in the purchasing power. That is the selling of mobile phones, right? So this is your effect. This is how we differentiate between cause and effect. A cause is given, a reason is given, and the implications and the impact of that particular reason is your effect. This is another type of question that we will see, right? Let us see what is the next thing over here. Course of action. Course of action is how do you usually go about giving solutions to your given statement. When a statement is made and you decide how do you go about using your statement to prove a particular point, that is your course of action. A statement is given and you have to decide how do you go about to make your own point. That will be your course of action. Correct? Okay. The other one says assumption. Now assumption, in critical reasoning, assumption, it plays a very important role, guys. What do we do over here is that here in assumption part, we generally come across ideas that we formulate, right? That we formulate based on the given statement. These ideas are nowhere in the real eyesight. You will not be able to see it right in front of you, but yes, you will have to assume based on your given statement. So all of them are interconnected. Based on your given statement, you will form certain assumptions. Like again, we'll see the example of price of mobile phones, the rise in the price of mobile phones due to GST. So here we are assuming that since there is rise in the price of mobile phones due to application of GST, we are assuming that before that mobile phones were cheaper, right? That is our assumption. Assumption says that before application of GST, mobile phones were comparatively cheaper, right? Nowhere it has been mentioned that mobile phones were cheaper earlier, but yes, we assume it because we heard, because we read that there's rise in the price due to application of GST. So let us think it that way, that our assumption says that before the application of GST, of course, the mobile phones would have been very, very cheaper, right? Comparatively cheaper. This is our basic assumption. This is how we usually assume after we read a given statement. Nowhere it is mentioned it's cheaper, but yet we came to this particular assumption. What is a conclusion? Conclusion again is something that we understand after reading a statement, after reading the given information. We come to a certain level of understanding. We understand certain facts from the given statement. That is our basic conclusion. Conclusion that we understand from the given statement. We conclude, we decide, we after assumption and taking the course of action and understanding the cause and effect, knowing the argument, analyzing the statement, checking for the flaws, we come to certain point where we say that this is our conclusion after the reading of the statement. Alright, and then the last but not the least, inferences. How do we draw the inferences? There's a statement given and we have to draw our own inference. We have to draw our own idea based on that particular statement. That will be our inference. Inference questions are questions where a statement is made and you have been given options. After reading the options, you will come to know which is the best suitable answer, which is the best suitable inference that you draw from the given statement. Now this will happen only if you understand, analyze and use your potential of thinking ability, everything you put it to use by reading the statement in such a way, understanding the statement in such a way that you can easily draw an inference out of it. Correct? So inference is something that you draw out of a statement which you can infer, which you can understand just by merely reading and analyzing your given particular statement. So this is how we usually go about for critical reasoning strategies, critical reasoning ideas, where we have these points to be taken care of, these basic ideas to be understood. Only then you will be able to crack your critical reasoning part. Now it is not that difficult as it seems. If you apply all these ideas, all the rules properly, these are the types of questions you will come across. But when your thought process is organized, is completely structured, when you apply your logical reasoning to it, right, like more logic and assumptions, you will be able to solve your critical reasoning very, very easily. It will be a cakewalk for you. So do not think that it is something very difficult. Do not think that it is something you will not be able to understand at first instance. No, just that you need a lot of practice and your half the work is done, half the battle is won. Let's see what are the keys we use to approach our critical reasoning part. These are few keys that we have come across. First of all, helps brainstorming. Now when you help yourself with brainstorming, of course you will be able to understand your critical part very well. As the name suggests, when you think too much, only then you will be able to understand your critical part, your critical analytical part of your statement, of a given answer, right? Needs applicable knowledge. Your critical reasoning will always want from you this particular section, this particular part which emphasize on using of applicable knowledge. Whenever your knowledge is applied to your critical question, you will be easily able to understand what the statement is trying to tell you or what it is expecting out of you. You use your basic and advanced thinking ability. Now when there is a certain statement made which is little complicated or out of the box, you need to think also out of the box, right? Your routine thinking will not help you crack those statements or understand those statements and thereby solve the questions that follows. No, you will need to understand your basic thinking first, develop it and go towards your advanced thinking. Develop your basic skills, your basic thinking process in such a way that slowly and gradually you move towards your advanced thinking ability too. But this will also again come with the basic thought process that you develop. If you cannot develop basic thought process at all, of course and very obviously your advanced and your growth part of thinking will not be nurtured, will not be taken care of. So for that, first use enough thinking power that you have, use it to the best of your potential, best of your ability, and very easily you will be able to understand the underlying meaning of the given statement. You won't even be required to waste too much time on analyzing those statements. Again, analytical ability. Now your analytical ability says that you should be able to understand and analyze, like the name suggests. Analyze. Try and analyze whatever statements they have given to you. Think from all 10 different perspectives, right? From 10 different aspects that the statement will show you. Maybe you will not be able to gauge things in the first instance, but again, practice makes a man perfect. If a man wants to be perfect, only practice can make him do so. If you keep on reading paragraphs, sentences based on critical thinking, you will be critical reasoning, you will be surely able to think also critically. You will be able to analyze all the situations, all the statements that they've given to you, and thereby draw your own inferences and conclusions out of it. So guys, this is not something which is very difficult, but yes, if you do not practice, if you do not put your head into it, it may be it may not be a cakewalk for you. So anything that you want to understand needs a lot of brainstorming in critical reasoning part. So try and start it from today onwards itself. Sit with your book, start doing it, and I'm sure you will be able to crack it so well. There'll be nothing to stop you guys. Alright, so by now I'm sure you must have easily understood what do we mean by critical reasoning and what all aspects do we need to understand while solving our critical reasoning part. Now if you're struggling with your critical reasoning and you want to join us for the online programs and other programs too for your MBACET, what you can do is you can log on to our website over here, right? Click in this box or else, and surely join us for the online videos which may be further helpful to you to solve all your critical reasoning and other programs queries as well, right? So these are the numbers where you can reach us, 8828581455, 8828581454. Alright, so guys, do share and subscribe as well, because for all your MBA friends and MBACET aspirants, this is the best thing you can do, and you can easily crack your CR part without any blockages, without any hindrances. Alright, so all the best for this.